What are we here for?
Cocktails? I'm joking. We're here for games.
Yeah! Zoom it on your face. There we go. Boom! Where are we going?
I'm not doing this.
Where are we going? Where are we going?
I don't know, where are we going? You're mystery job. Not helpful,
You're
am I?
no fun. Hey, we are walking back from UKGE, the first day. We saw some games, including EU4! And we had some dinner, had some appetizer TGI Fridays because...
And sugar cocktails.
Just sugar cocktails, as ever. And we're just really tired, so we're gonna crash, and then tomorrow is a full day of board games.
Woo!
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 Full day. Excited?
Woo!
So the very first game that I want to talk about in this little video, because that's right, it's not just a cool vlog, it's actually talking about the games, is Europa Universalis 4. This is EU4, the board game. If you really like Paradox games as much as I do, then you will appreciate how ridiculously cool this is. It feels so much like an actual EU4 game, but obviously just on a board with a limited number of turns. But my god, there is the same kind of mechanics, the very same kind of ideas, monarch power, the currency, the recruitment of armies, the kind of cyclical 10-year cycle of combat in terms of manpower replenishment. It feels just like the computer game. I'm just so excited. It's already my number one for UKGE. I know number one shouldn't be at the front, but you know what? Whatever. This is amazing. I'm so excited to play it, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on it when and if I'm able to. If you like strategic combat games like this and like other ones like it, kind of similar perhaps in concept to maybe Game of Thrones board game and obviously risk elements and other things like that, you should definitely give this a go. It's got this wonderful little card system that really helps out with regards to advisors and events. It's amazing. I am so excited.
Hello.
Good space.
Yeah.
Space is better.
What have you been doing?
Space never wants to play Dominion again.
What did you do?
Played Dominion for 3.5 hours. No. I played Dominion 3 times and I stood for like God knows how long.
Yeah, it was not a very efficient system. We played Dominion for extremely long. You know, you just played Dominion for 3.5 hours, but for over a third of it was spent standing around. Hello, Birmingham Airport.
I hate Dominion now.
What are we doing now?
Drinking this coffee.
Yeah, we need caffeine. Yeah.
Walking over there.
Yeah.
Trying to find some kind of food.
Yeah.
And then curling up on a little board and going to sleep.
That's not true.
Curling up on a little board and going
What are we actually doing?
Staying awake till 10 o'clock and going to this press thingy.
That's right. There's a press social.
We'll hopefully have a comfy sofa.
Press social. There are comfy sofas, but press social. Drink beer. Yay.
So, yeah, there was no press social. Well, there was, but we couldn't find them, and then we played Flux. We played Flux the board game instead in the pub, and literally took a table up from other people trying to eat food and drink, and we just drank beer and played some games on our own instead. And then went to bed at like 10 PM because we were exhausted. This is the first time I have ever managed to actually time my hair up completely. Thoughts?
Yeah. Don't know what to do with myself.
This is by far the best thing about UK Games Expo, that I've managed to do this.
Sorry to all those people that spent years designing games.
Game number 2 that I really enjoyed at UKG was a very small little game that was just being run on a small stand, kind of tucked away. It's called Aquanauts, and you can see that the artwork doesn't basically exist. There's no figures, it's just using the basic kind of meeples and blocks. But it's so good. You control, well, you're competing as scientists underwater, trying to publish enough papers so as to be the winner. And you have a variety of different buildings you can build to get you resources. You can also requisition resources from the above surface. You kind of compete over that. There's a submarine that you can combat over so as to bring you construction materials to construct buildings. And it was a very small little game surrounded by much more high-tech and more invested games, and I thought it was so much fun. I mean, I'm sure there are games that are pretty similar to it, but I really, really enjoy it. So this is Aquanauts. You can find it on Board Game Geek, and I'm going to put links in the description for you. It is still early days. I mean, it's going to be like at least a year, I think, before this game is ready. But I'm really looking forward to hopefully playing it at UKGE 2020. So they
they have added Comic-Con, it was the Birmingham Film and Comic-Con, and they've added it here. And that they now allow us to go in for free if you have a ticket for UK Games Expo. And it's never actually been here before.
No, it's here every year. We just
No, we've never been in one hall.
It's really empty. That's what it is.
Super empty.
The hall's the same size as the others. It's just one.
Yeah, semi-famous people with which you can get a signature. Like, I'm not really sure why I'd ever want a signature from these people, but I mean, that's kind of cool. Natalie Tena, she was Game of Thrones, and Tonks and Harry Potter. That's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know, man, I just don't super care.
After that, we did play some Keyforge in the tournament area. We actually weren't competing in the tournament, though we could have been, because we did get some tickets due to buying some Ascension decks. But we were just playing against each other, just having some fun, and everyone kind of walking past us like, why are you here? You don't seem to be in the tournament. And then once we finished playing Keyforge and Olivia whipped my butt, we then tried a new game. Donning the Purple was an interesting little strategy game for 3 players, wherein you kind of basically took turns playing as the Emperor, the leader of the Senate, and the heir to the Emperor, whilst trying to rebuild the Empire as it starts to crumble around you towards the end of the Roman Empire. I thought it was really interesting. I think the mechanics were quite well established. It felt very polished. Maybe slightly formulaic, but still quite interesting with mechanics of food, new rebellions, and essentially just desperately trying not to die endlessly. I really liked it. I didn't get a chance to pick it up, unfortunately. I think they actually ran out of copies, and I kind of ran out of my budget for the day. But I am looking forward to trying it at some point, maybe even next year UKGE, or possibly trying it another time. After that, we went to the best thing ever, which was a live showing of Nightmare. Anyone ever seen Nightmare? It was an amazing game show. It was so good. It was like a live show. It was also a comedy routine. It was, I loved it so much. It's possibly the highlight for UKG, and I had no idea that it even happened. I mean, anyone who's ever loved it, listen to this music, and you'll go right back in time, I promise you. This is the last day of UKGE. Hence the
appearances.
Yep, hence the backpack on my belly, bags packed up. I spilled coffee on the floor. Now there's a coffee towel. No, I'll have my banana. Potassium! Woo! Now we're gonna go and do some villagers at noon. We're gonna go check out, do some villagers at noon. Possibly review that a little bit. Play the Brexit game at Wotan Games, and then we also have a couple draws we want to go to. No interviews, so we're cool. So it's all eat food at 4:30 and then train back, and then tomorrow I have a sponsored stream. Ah, the shuttle. How do you feel about your coffee today, Olivia?
It was disgusting.
What do you miss, Olivia?
I miss your coffee.
She misses good old Monmouth coffee. Monmouth, please do sponsor me. We next played Villagers, which was quite an interesting game with a surprisingly large setup within the convention hall itself, and it's quite cool. It was a little resource management and kind of farming construction. I thought it was quite interesting. It's difficult to describe exactly what it is. I mean, it's kind of almost like a resource deck builder, really. It's interesting. I didn't end up picking it up. I was considering buying a copy. I did it for ages about whether or not to buy it, and then I went to get it and they'd run out of copies, so I didn't get a chance to get one, but that's okay, you know, que sera. Maybe I'll get it one day. Who knows? Maybe I can review it at some point. But I thought it was quite an interesting game. It played pretty solidly. I mean, it has this massive little table board, but you don't need that to play it entirely. But I thought it was quite an enjoyable game, albeit maybe a little similar to a few other games as well. But I didn't get a chance to play into the late game, so we'll see. The only other game that we actually managed to play properly at UKG was a very interesting little summoning game called Dice Summoners, which is a 2-player game all about summoning monsters and then battling each other. And I actually really enjoyed it. I actually did buy a copy. Although they were extremely insistent about me buying a copy, I was convinced, and I do actually have it with me, and I'm taking it away with me. So I will be doing some videos sometime soon of all the games that I did buy at UKG, a little bit of a hauling video. I wanted to do this first so as to get it out and make sure you guys saw what happened at UKG, because you know this is a couple weeks afterwards. And yeah, I had a really good time. If you have never been to UKG and you do live in the UK, or if you live nearby to the UK and you really like board games, I would highly recommend you do come and play some games. It's a lot of fun. It's easily my favorite time of the year for conventions.
It's over.
It's over. I'm so tired. I'm gonna go home.
And what are you gonna get?
A drink?
Okay, a drink.
A coffee?
That's right, she's addicted to coffee.
What did you? I just want something hot. But I'm gonna get a chai tea latte just to prove you wrong.
No, you're not. Ah, that was tiring.